Red Bull Racing's performance at the Australian Grand Prix, a detailed analysis. The Formula One season kicked off at the iconic Albert Park circuit in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix, the opening race of the 2025 season held on March 16, 2025. Red Bull Racing, the reigning champions, entered the weekend under scrutiny with their star driver Max Verstappen and newcomer Liam Lawson, replacing Sergio Perez for the new season. This analysis explores their performance across the weekend, delving into qualifying efforts, race strategies, pivotal moments, and their early impact on the championship standings. Pre-race expectations and track characteristics. As the season opener, the Australian Grand Prix carried high stakes for Red Bull. Pre-season testing in Bahrain had hinted at a strong McLaren package, with Verstappen himself conceding that McLaren were the favorites heading into Melbourne. The RB21 car showed promise but struggled with balance during testing, raising questions about Red Bull's edge over rivals. Historically, Red Bull has had a mixed record at Albert Park, a semi-street circuit known for its flowing corners, smooth surface, and mix of high-speed sections and tight chicanes. Verstappen's commanding win in 2024 set a benchmark, but the track's unpredictability, often accentuated by safety cars and variable weather, meant nothing was guaranteed. The cooler March temperatures in Melbourne, combined with a slippery surface, underscored the importance of tire management and adaptability, areas Red Bull's engineers would have prioritized. Qualifying performance, setting the stage for Sunday. Saturday's qualifying session offered the first glimpse of the 2025 pecking order. Max Verstappen, aiming to kick off the season with pole, faced stiff competition in the three-stage format: Q1, Q2, Q3. In Q1, both Red Bull drivers progressed comfortably, conserving tires for later stages. Q2 saw Verstappen maintain strong pace, consistently near the top, while Liam Lawson also advanced to Q3, marking a solid debut effort despite his relative inexperience. The Q3 showdown was dominated by McLaren, with Lando Norris securing pole position, 1:15.096s, and teammate Oscar Piastri locking out the front row in P2, just 0.084s behind. Verstappen settled for P3, a respectable but not dominant start, trailing Norris by a small margin. Lawson's exact Q3 position isn't widely reported, but post-session setup changes meant he would start from the pit lane, tempering expectations for his race day. McLaren's front-row lockout signaled their testing pace wasn't a fluke, setting up a challenging Sunday for Red Bull. Race day, strategy, incidents, and performance. Race day brought wet and chaotic conditions, with rain at the start, a drying track mid-race, and a late downpour altering strategies across the grid. The 58-lap contest featured 3 safety cars and multiple incidents, testing drivers and teams alike. Verstappen got a clean start from P3, swiftly overtaking Piastri to slot into P2 behind Norris. Lawson, starting from the pit lane, faced an uphill battle to make progress. The race unfolded with shifting tire strategies, intermediates for the wet start, a switch to slicks as the track dried, and a late return to intermediates as rain returned. Red Bull's adaptability would prove critical in this unpredictable environment. Max Verstappen's race. Verstappen ran a composed and competitive race. After passing Piastri early, he shadowed Norris, keeping the gap manageable through the opening wet stint. As the track dried around lap 15, teams began pitting for slicks, and Verstappen followed suit, maintaining P2. His pace on slicks was strong, particularly in the high-speed sections, though McLaren's car appeared to have an edge in mixed conditions. The race's complexion changed with late rain around lap 45. While some rivals pitted immediately for intermediates, Verstappen stayed out on slicks briefly taking the lead as Norris pitted. However, he soon pitted for intermediates himself, rejoining in P2. The final laps were tense, with Verstappen closing on Norris but unable to challenge for the win, finishing 0.895s behind in second place. His 18 points were a solid haul, reflecting his skill in navigating the chaos and Red Bull's strategic flexibility. Liam Lawson's race. Liam Lawson's Red Bull debut was short-lived. Starting from the pit lane, he made early progress but struggled with the RB21's balance in wet conditions. His race ended prematurely with a crash, details sparse but confirmed across sources, likely in the opening or middle stages given the multiple safety car periods. The incident eliminated any chance of points, a disappointing baptism for the young New Zealander, though it underscored the steep learning curve of Formula One's top tier. Key moments and strategic decisions. The race was defined by chaos. Isaac Hadjar's formation lap crash delayed the start and triggered an early safety car. Lawson's crash added to Red Bull's woes, while Piastri's late spin in the rain dropped him from contention to P9, aiding Verstappen's P2. Red Bull's decision to keep Verstappen out briefly on slicks during the late rain was a gamble that nearly paid off, showcasing their willingness to adapt. McLaren's earlier pit stop for Norris in the drying phase gave him the edge he needed to hold off Verstappen. Team perspective and driver reactions. Post-race, Verstappen described the weekend as difficult but fun, pleased with P2 given Red Bull's pace deficit to McLaren. He acknowledged the team's efforts in maximizing points under tricky conditions. Christian Horner likely viewed the result as damage limitation, with Lawson's crash a setback but Verstappen's podium a foundation to build on. Lawson, while disappointed, would take the crash as a learning experience, with the team confident in his potential. Comparison to rivals. The Australian GP highlighted a tightening field. McLaren's Norris won, with Piastri recovering to P9, 2 points, totaling 27 points. Mercedes impressed with George Russell, P3, and Kimi Antonelli, P5, also scoring 27 points. Ferrari faltered, with Charles Leclerc, P8, and Lewis Hamilton, P10, hampered by a late slick tire gamble, netting 6 points. Red Bull's 18 points from Verstappen alone kept them in the hunt, but McLaren's pace advantage, plus 0.669s in testing, was evident. Championship implications. After round 1, Norris leads the drivers' standings with 25 points, Verstappen has 18, and Lawson 0. In the constructors, McLaren and Mercedes tie at 27 points, with Red Bull third at 18. Verstappen's podium ensures he's well placed, but Lawson's crash leaves Red Bull vulnerable in the team battle. Track characteristics and their influence on Red Bull's performance. Albert Park's slippery, rain-affected surface tested grip and adaptability. McLaren thrived in mixed conditions, while Red Bull's RB21 struggled for balance, as noted in testing.